Did you guys out there see the story about former I guess he is always going to be first-round pick of the Tennessee Titans, Isaiah Wilson, who played with the Georgia Bulldogs before that, 29th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. This is crazy. He was arrested right as the NFL playoffs were starting for driving 140 miles an hour. They actually called off police pursuit of him about 25 miles outside of Athens. He was going 140 miles an hour with a girl in the car with him. And when they finally caught up with him, they only caught up with him because he had wrecked the car. Fortunately, they somehow were not hurt, although I don't know how you avoid getting hurt. Good luck to them going 140 miles an hour and losing control of the car. But inside of the car, they found pot and acid. This guy was traded, I think it was like last week, to the Miami Dolphins, and the Dolphins only kept him for 3 days, and then they basically just threw up their hands and said, there's nothing we can do with this dude. This entire relationship is basically over. And so he's now out of the NFL, but this traffic-related incident had not been public until yesterday. What percentage, Dub, of our audience do you think has ever gone 140 miles an hour?
Well, I certainly haven't. My car does not go that fast.
Most people's cars doesn't go that fast. Irrespective of the fact that it's probably about 60 miles or 70 miles over the speed limit almost everywhere. 140 miles an hour is flat out unheard of. They actually said the police clocked him at 123 and started to pursue him. I didn't even know this was the law, but he was driving so fast they decided it wasn't safe to pursue him. And so they only caught up with him after he had wrecked the car. So, 140 miles an hour, that's a good point. I don't even know what percentage of people that are listening to us right now own a vehicle that is capable of going 140 miles an hour.
The only person I could think of is Shannon Spake, who's been in a NASCAR before.
Yeah, right.
That is the only person I can confidently say that listens to our show that has gone that fast in a car.
Even in NASCAR, that's fast. 140 miles an hour. This is, I really believe this. Because some people out there will say, oh, you know what, it's Ryan Leaf, or it's Jamarcus Russell, or it's Johnny Manziel. Quarterbacks who are first-round draft picks and don't pan out get a lot of attention. But I don't know that there's anybody. The dude played 4 snaps in his rookie year, 3 of which were on special teams. 3 of which were kneel downs. He played on the kneel down series, and he played on 1 special teams. I think it was like an extra point attempt.
And didn't the kick get blocked?
Yeah, and I think he also got hurt. Like he was on, and he tested positive for COVID twice. He got a DUI in downtown Nashville for doing donuts in one of the main streets leading into downtown while drunk. And also, back when everybody was just arriving to begin training camp, he got caught at a college party and obviously was violating COVID protocol. And then he somehow ended up on the COVID restricted list twice. And now he's driving 140 miles an hour with pot and acid in the car. I really think there's a strong argument here that this dude is the biggest bust in NFL history. I really do, because there's no injury situation here, physical injury. There's no, like people are like, oh, Ryan Leaf was a big bust, or Jamarcus Russell was a big bust, or Johnny Manziel was a big bust. Those dudes all played multiple years in the NFL and started a ton of games. Yeah, they didn't end up being Hall of Fame quarterbacks or great quarterbacks, but they won games in the NFL. They didn't fail to dress for the entire year, basically. and then get released by two different teams within the same year, less than a year from when they were actually drafted. I think there's a strong argument that Isaiah Wilson is the biggest bust in the history of the NFL draft. I really do. We'll see. I mean, I hope he ends up getting his life back to normal in some way, but it seems like he's on such a slippery slope that it's hard for me to believe that he's going to get everything reconciled in his life. I hope he does, but it's hard for me to believe that's going to happen.